Hi Flosstube, I'm Lori and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. Today I'd like to give you an update on how I am going to be doing Stitch Mania this year. Last year I started watching Flosstube around this time in April, and it slowly progressed into Stitch Mania. And in my last video, I had mentioned that I was going to talk about another anniversary, and I forgot. And the anniversary was about finding Flosstube, because just last year in April, I found Flosstube, and I enjoyed watching everybody and being inspired by everything that they were stitching on, and it gave me ideas of what I might like to be stitching on. And then Stitch Mania started, and I thought, oh, what a great idea. I didn't have much of a stash at that time. I had a few patterns, so I went online to see what freebies I can get. And basically, I started three projects during Stitch Mania. I started my cherub with the tree, and I started day one, May 1st, with that one. And it was, I have it right here. I started up in this corner, and I did all the black in here, and then I put it aside, and I started on day 2 on the next one. And this was a freebie from Cloud's Factory, and I turned it into a little pillow, but I enjoyed working on this so much that after day 3 and day 4 and day 5, I think it was then that I might have stopped and went back to cherub, this one. And I realized that I made a mistake in here. I had stitched 8 hours on this, basically all black, just a little bit of the color, and for some reason it just wasn't matching up, and I couldn't understand why. Then I realized this was stitched on 2/2, and it was the first time I had stitched 2/2 since the 1980s, and I was very rusty, but I was willing to give it a shot. And what I did was I stitched 2/1 in the middle of 2/2s. So 8 hours of stitching and then frogging it all. But I didn't give up. I was still very enthusiastic about partaking in Stitch Mania, so I frogged it all out, and I picked up a third piece, and that's when I started on the Country Cottage monthly cottage series, and I started with July, and I had a fun time doing this. And I remember looking up how to do pin stitches for these fireworks, and yeah, didn't enjoy the pin stitches too much because I didn't want it drag the thread to the next one because it might show. So, but I did it, and that was the end of Stitch Mania for me, because I felt that I always had to have a finish when I start something. So the idea of having all these projects started and nothing to show for it, at that point Stitch Mania ended. But this year I have a plan, and I hope the plan works out. Basically, my thought on Stitch Mania is that I would stitch one project every other day, a new start every other day. So that would be 9 projects for me during the time of the 18 days. So this way, and there's a lot of them are small, so I'm hoping I can finish them within the 2 days. If I finish it and I still have time in those 2 days, I don't think I'll get the next one out. I think what I'll do is I'll spend that time and work maybe on just one project that's already in my rotation, or not in my rotation, but one project during the whole time, so that I can make some progress in it. That's only if I finish my little project within the 2 days. Or the other option would be to finish a FFO it completely. That's a possibility. But I do like stitching in the evening, so I don't like finishing projects in the evening. So if I don't have any stitching, I will take out a WIP that I already started. So this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to start May 1st with a Lizzie Kate, and I'm going to start with Be Bright, which is this little guy right here up in the corner, that reindeer. And on the second day, from the same pattern here, I'm going to do Be Sweet, which to me would be Mrs. Claus. I hope that is clear to you. I'm trying not to have any glare. I took it out of the packaging from my last video. And I'm going to stitch that on an 18 count Aida in stone gray. I think, let's see if that's showing up. Yeah, I think it matches pretty well. So those are my first two starts for Maynia. Then the third one will be from JBW Designs collection number 7. And it's one of the Christmas trees. And I keep going back and forth. I think I really like this one, but I like that one, but I think I'll do this one. So I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to stitch it on a 28 count Lugana in antique white from Zweigart. It's very see-through. You can see the pattern. But anyway, it's antique white, and it should fit on this. I measured it, and hopefully it will. Otherwise, I'll start it on something else. Then May 7th, which will be my fourth start, will be Snow from Lizzie Kate, from her Tidy Tidings. Was that number 172? Snow, and I'm going to do that on a cashel linen 28 count in Smoky Pearl. Another Zweigart piece. I have these little pieces of fabric that I'm trying to use up, and this was a great time to try and use up what I have. So, and see if I like stitching on the different fabrics, because they were sample pieces that I was given a couple of years ago, and I never did anything with them. Now I have something that I think I might be able to fit in it, so I thought I'd give that a shot. The next two comes from this Lizzie Kate 167 Tidy Tidings, and the first one that I'll do is Jingle Jingle, and this will be the 5th start for me. And the 6th one will be Santa Knows. I'm going to do 2 from this series. And I'm going to stitch that on 18 count tea and coffee dyed fabric. I don't know if it's showing it's darker than it's appearing on here, but it seems to match the background in the pattern. So I'll be doing that on that. Then my 7th start is going to be another Lizzie Kate, and it is from the July Flip It series. And I'll be stitching this twice, only once during Maynia, but I hope to get it done again in May so that I can turn them both into little pillows. And it comes with a sunflower to put on one of the pillows. So I'll do one for my daughter-in-law and one for myself. And I'll be stitching that on an 16 count Aida, which is a parchment, and from Zweigart. It seems to match. I turned the camera around to video this time at a different angle, and it's basically because of the way the sunlight comes into the room and the shining on the patterns. And I try to, I tested a couple of times to make sure that there's not too much glare. So this is another cabinet that I have in my room. Most of the cross stitching is in the top shelf. A few pieces that aren't finished here, and the rest is quilt pieces that I've done. Okay, back to cross stitching. The next one is number 8, and that is a Plum Street sampler, Kringle and Woolard. I know a lot of you have done this. I'm a little late on the bandwagon, but I'm going to stitch it on a 28 count Lugana in doubloon. And I got this fabric from Picture This Plus. And I might bring this to retreat with me because it seems to have quite a bit of a solid color, like right in here, the trees. It might be just the variation in the floss, I'm hoping, that not a lot of changes. So I might bring that to retreat to work on. And then the final number 9 will be the Country Cottage Cottage of the Month, and this one is the June. July was the very first one I did, and June will be the last of the series that I have to do. And though they call for a lamb's wool linen by Witchelt, I chose fabric, basically different fabric all the time. In March, I tried to do more of a green for St. Patty's Day. In November, I did different, October and November, I did different browns that I had dyed myself. So for this one, for June, I'm going to try and do it on this. It's an Aida, could be 16 count. And I'm going to do it on this one. So I think it'll be pretty. Yeah. If the white shows, I'll be a happy camper, because the house is basically white and it has a lot of red. So if the white shows, I'll be a happy camper and move forward on that one. And I might bring that to retreat as well, since it's a pretty simple stitch. Alrighty, those were my plans for Maynia. So 9 starts within the 18 days, and I hope it works out for me. And then for next year, if Maynia goes on again, I'll see how I would tweak it, and maybe do more projects or larger projects. I don't know. I'll just see how it works. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I will be working on Maynia. I know a lot of you are doing 1 a day for 18 days. Some of you will be doing more than that. Some will be doing the whole month of May. Some are doing starting in the end of April, finishing in June to get a number of new starts in. That would give me too much anxiety, but hopefully this will work out for me, and I'll see how it plays out. I do want to give 2 shout outs to people that I just started watching again. One is Stitching Social. They're 2 lovely young ladies that live in Canada, and they're going to be coming down for retreat. And they're just so much fun to watch, between how they talk with each other and get along so well. And their mom's a stitcher too, so it's just so much fun to watch. And then Margo Howard, who just came back to making videos again. She took a little break, and she just made her 4th one. And I just watched it this morning, and it was, I love seeing the projects that she's working on. She does some beautiful, beautiful work. So if you get a chance to check those 2 out, I think you'll enjoy them. All right, so I will try and pop in the middle of Maynia and give you an update of how my Maynia progress is working. And then if I make any progress, otherwise I will see you most likely after retreat and let you know how Maynia went and how retreat went. And I hope to be able to post some pictures on Instagram from a retreat, as long as I have permission from the other stitchers that it'd be okay with them. And that's it. I hope to see you again real soon. Have a great stitchy week. I hope you have a wonderful Maynia, if you have plans to do Stitch Maynia. If not, I hope you get a lot done on your whips, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.